Hello there, Nerd Fighters. You may not know this, but I actually play a lot of music. And today my video may seem like it's sponsored, but trust me, I wish it were sponsored. Today I'm going to talk about a really cool, fun instrument that I just barely picked up. Something that seasoned musical veterans and musical novices alike can both have fun with. So here it goes. Can you see it? Can you see it? Can you see it? Can you see it? This is the Seagull Merlin. It's made by Seagull Guitars, who are kind of famous for their really awesome, fairly cheap, really professional level acoustic guitars. It's inspired by the Appalachian dulcimer, so it kind of puts it into the strum stick category for those who are kind of knowledgeable about those kinds of things. It's basically a cross between a dulcimer and a guitar, and it's really fun to play. It's tuned in an open D tuning usually. I've actually tuned mine into open E flat, which basically means it's already tuned to play a chord without putting a single finger on the board. So it'll sound like this when you strum it. Without doing anything here. Try that with your guitar and you will be severely disappointed. Because it's tuned to this kind of open tuning, it makes it a lot easier to play things that sound good because you already play something that sounds good without putting a single finger down. Ooh. Veteran guitar players will also notice that the frets are a little different. They're not chromatic, but they are actually done in a diatonic scale. To people who don't understand what that means, basically this is set up so that you cannot play a bad note on it. Theoretically, there's no way that you can put your hand on this instrument and have it sound weird. So you can play just about anything and it'll sound kind of cool. You can also do some really cool finger picking stuff with it. It's made out of a solid piece of maple that goes all the way down here. And then they glued two maple wings. I don't know if you can really see it. The two maple sides right here to kind of give it the shape. And then they put another piece of wood for the top, for the soundboard. This is the solid spruce variety. They also make one that is solid mahogany. Well, solid mahogany top. The whole thing on either model of Merlin is solid maple, but the top comes in spruce or mahogany. As you would expect, the spruce model sounds a lot brighter, the mahogany sounds a lot warmer. Your preference applies here. I actually wanted to buy a mahogany one because I found one with a just gorgeous mahogany top, but after playing a couple spruce models, they just sound, to me, a lot better because I like the kind of more bright sounding instrument like that. They sound kind of halfway between a mandolin and a banjo, so that's really good for playing folk music or Celtic music or any sort of cool backwoods mountain kind of arrangements that you have. I really do think it's cool how it is set up in the diatonic scale, so there's no bad notes, and it's set to that open tuning, so it takes all the guesswork out of it. You don't have to worry about, you know, learning weird fingerings for chords. You can play chords. It is kind of difficult to play chords on this. That is the downside. Yes, you are kind of locked into that diatonic scale, but you can play, you know, other notes if you just want to do some like finger bending. It's a little harder, and I probably wouldn't recommend it because it is kind of hit and miss how fast and how accurately you can hit those notes in a song. But you would actually be surprised about how many songs you can play within the diatonic scale. And Anyway, it's a really, really cool beginner instrument, but someone who knows a little bit more about music can still have a lot of fun with this thing. You might have noticed we have kind of a wire right there. That's because they don't really sell cases for these, so we just have it hanging on our wall. But it's really hard for me to walk past this and not pick it up and start playing it, because it is just so much fun. With the open tuning, it makes it just so easy to just pick it up and start strumming and playing really cool melodies. It is supposed to be tuned in D-A-D, but this is E-flat, B-flat, E-flat. It can be retuned down to about C-G-C and probably up to maybe E-B-E. I wouldn't tune it much further. It actually does string with just regular guitar strings. I think this is a G, a B, and 2 E's. It does have the double string there for kind of like a mandolin chorus effect. I really like it. It kind of sounds, kind of gives it that extra cool aspect, that extra mountainy, folky sound to it. But if you know anything about Seagull guitars, the build quality, you know, is impeccable. These are, for all intents and purposes, handmade. Yes, there's no such thing as a handmade guitar really anymore, because they use machinery to do a lot of the routing and carving. But you know, these aren't made in some sort of sweatshop. These are made in like a really nice Canadian factory. This is all really good, solid wood. There's not a piece of plywood in this thing. All really good quality maple, solid spruce. The tuners are pretty good, and it only costs, retails for $129. You can get deals online. I wanted to buy from my local guitar shop, my little local guitar boutique, because they're really awesome and they do a lot of cheap services. Shout out to Great Salt Lake Guitar Company. If you ever watch this video, you guys are awesome. But I highly recommend picking one up if you like just kind of strumming, jamming, playing folky music, playing some Celtic tunes, playing some bluegrass, I don't know, what have you. I would very highly recommend it. If you don't know anything about music and you want an instrument that requires almost no brains to play and that you can literally pick up with no knowledge and play something that sounds pretty good, I would buy a Seagull Merlin. And I know this sounds a lot like a sales video, but I'm just really, really loving this thing. And I think I should spread my joy with all of Nerdfighteria. So, the DFTBA, and I'll see y'all soon.